How to make a gluten-free cheesecake. Okay, first off you will need the following ingredients. 400 grams of sour cream, that is most of a small tub. 5 large eggs. 3 packages of cream cheese, totaling 750 grams. 2 teaspoons of lemon juice, or vinegar if you're allergic to citrus. 1/4 cup of gluten-free flour. 1 1/3 cups of sugar. 1 box of rice checks. A 1/2 cup of maple syrup or maple butter. 1 tablespoon of cinnamon. 1 cup of berries, although those last 2 are optional. You'll also need the following cooking implements. A 9-inch springform pan. A roll of parchment paper. Paper muffin cups. For the crust, you can use a box of gluten-free graham crumbs, but personally, I prefer to crush up rice checks. Leave the ingredients out until they're room temperature. First, the prep. Take the rice checks and crush them into a rough powder. It's fine if there are larger chunks left in there. Add the maple syrup to the mix and stir until it's sticky and clumping. Wrap parchment paper around the bottom plate of the pan, then clip it onto the side of the pan. Now take a roll of parchment paper wide enough to cover the entire inside of the sides of the pan. Cut it to the height of the pan, then soak it in water. Now press the wet parchment against the sides of the pan so that it completely covers the metal. Now put the crust in the pan. Make sure it's even along the bottom and packed up at the corners. You want a solid wall of crust where the bottom of the pan meets the sides to keep the cake from leaking as it cooks. You're ready to start the batter. This would be a good time to preheat your oven to 325 degrees Fahrenheit. I use a stand mixer for this next part, but the steps are exactly the same if you use a hand mixer, or do it manually. I've made this recipe with a fork and a whisk with no trouble at all. Start by beating the cream cheese on medium until it's creamed. Be sure to use a spatula to scrape down the sides and dislodge any extra cream cheese. Once it's creamed, turn the speed down to low and slowly add the rest of the ingredients. First, the sugar. Then the eggs, one at a time. Then the flour and the lemon juice. Finally, add the sour cream and beat until it's completely blended together. Now you have cheesecake mix, and if you want a plain cheesecake, skip ahead to the cooking section of the video. This recipe is a berry cheesecake, however, so at this point, drop in the tablespoon of cinnamon, and once it's fully mixed in, pour in your berries of choice. The mixer will crush the berries, spreading their skin and flesh, and therefore their flavor, throughout the cake. Once there's a nice even color to the batter, you're done. Now, pour the batter into the pan, filling it to near the top. You're going to have some batter left over, which you should pour into the muffin cups after placing them in a muffin tin. Now, put your springform pan onto a metal baking sheet. Pour water into the sheet to keep the oven a little humid, and place it on the middle rack of your oven. Place the muffin tray 1 rack below it. Now set your oven timer for 1 hour. After that hour, take out the muffin tray and reset the timer. If you're making plain cheesecake, add an extra 20 minutes. If you're making the berry cheesecake, the extra water in the berries will mean you have to cook it for an extra 15 minutes. In that case, set the timer for 35 more minutes. Once the timer has gone off, turn off the oven and crack the door open. Now set the timer for an hour. Cheesecake should cool very slowly. After the hour, take the cheesecake out and let it cool to room temperature. Once it's there, cover the top of the pan in foil or a lid and put it in the refrigerator for 24 hours. I know it might look delicious right now, but it still has to set. This is why I told you to make the tartlets, so there would be something to snack on while you wait for the cheesecake to finish setting. After the 24 hours is up, the cheesecake is finally done and ready to be eaten. Enjoy! I've been the Hidden Object Guru, and we'll be back for more recipes at some point in the future if you need some from me. But until then, au revoir.